Hi guys, we're going to backtrack a little bit because we haven't learned about how to do word problems yet. So these problems today are technically going to be from actually section 8-1 and 8-3, but most of them will be from 8-3. Also, today's PowerPoint goes directly with a worksheet. A worksheet looks like this. It was posted on the Google Classroom. Now you do have to print out the worksheet today, as I have not copied and pasted the problems from the worksheet onto the PowerPoint. So if you don't have the worksheet, you won't know what the questions are. Again, here is what the worksheet looks like. So if you haven't printed this out yet, make sure to go print it out right now, or at least have it open on your screen so that you can go back and forth between the PowerPoint and the pictures. Before we start working on these word problems, I wanted to give you some tips and tricks on how to approach a word problem. So first of all, if we're working on a word problem in this chapter, it's going to be really important that you draw and label a picture. Now you'll see that some of our word problems already have the pictures drawn out for us, which is fantastic, but they don't all have a picture. So we want to make sure that we're drawing an accurate picture and that we are labeling all the appropriate sides so that we'll know exactly what we're working with. Next, we'll need to think of some formulas. There are going to be two different kinds of formulas today. For our first formula, and we're going to do this mostly in the first video, we might be asked about the perimeter. To find the perimeter of a shape, you add all of the sides together. Depending on how many sides there are, you might be adding a different amount together, right? So like on a triangle, you would add the 3 sides together. On a square, you would add the 4 sides together. So it all depends on what shape we're talking about. But it's an adding problem. It's an adding problem. And then we're also going to be working on area problems. Now, area is going to be all in the second video. So we'll hit up area when we watch video 2. For the area of a rectangle, it's the length times the width. For the area of a circle, it's pi times the radius squared. And for the area of a square, you can either use the rectangle formula, length times width, or since a square has all 4 sides equal, you could just take one of the sides and then you could square it. So those are the different area formulas that you will need to know for today. Finally, you should figure out, like, what does this problem want me to do? Am I multiplying things together? If it's area, you are. Am I adding things together? If it's perimeter, you are. And then a lot of these problems are going to be looking for something that's missing. And so that would be a subtraction problem. Or they might be looking for a surrounding area. So you're going to have a whole picture, and we're going to take out the middle, and you're going to be left with the surrounding area. And those are also subtracting problems. Now I'll give you more examples when we do the actual questions. The last thing you need to know about a word problem is you're not going to get a final number answer. All of these answers are going to be polynomials still. Sometimes they'll be trinomials, binomials. It all kind of depends on what the problem is that you're working on. So you should be getting a polynomial answer, just like we have on all of our previous questions in this chapter. You should not just be getting an answer of like the number 5. So make sure that your answers are appropriate. We're going to start with the first 2 problems from your worksheet that you printed out. I even wrote on the worksheet video 1 to help you out with this. For the first problem, we're supposed to draw a picture, but like the picture's already there, so we don't really need to draw a picture. They also gave us some other information in this problem. So they also told us that the perimeter is 25x plus 4. And the question was, how long is this missing side? So to find the missing length, what we're going to do is we're going to add together the 2 sides that we do know. So we're going to add together the 12x minus 8 and the 5x plus 7. And this is a combining like terms problem. So 5 plus 12 is 17. And then 7 plus negative 8 is negative 1. That is not quite the whole perimeter. That is just these 2 sides added together. Now the whole perimeter is supposed to be this. So if I take my third side and I add it with the sides that I know, it should equal this one. Again, if I take the two sides that I know and I add them with my missing side, I should get my total perimeter. So if I want to find my missing side, I'm going to take my two sides that I know and I am going to subtract them from my perimeter. So it's kind of like moving them to the other side of the equal sign. So I'm going to minus the 17x. And then since this was already a -1, when I subtract it, it's going to turn into a +1. And that should give us our final answer. And so the final answer for this problem is 8x plus 5. This was a perimeter problem. We add the two sides together that we know, and we subtract that from the total perimeter. All right, now in question 2, we were not given a picture, so we'll need to draw one ourselves. Question 2 says that the perimeter of a trapezoid is 39a minus 7. So we need to draw a trapezoid. This is what a trapezoid looks like. A trapezoid has two sides that are parallel and two sides that are not. And then it also told us what 3 of the 4 sides were. So one of the sides is 9a. Doesn't matter which one you put that on. One of them is 5a plus 1. And then the last one is 17a minus 6. And again, it doesn't really matter where you put any of these things. The important thing is we know 3 of the sides. We don't know the 4th side. And that's what we're going to try to figure out. To do this problem, we're going to do pretty much the exact same thing that we did on the last problem. So I'm going to add the 3 sides that I know together. This is combining like terms. Right, so the 5a plus the 9a is 14a. And 14 plus 17 is 31a. And then I'm going to add together my constants. 1 plus -6 is -5. Okay, so this is the 3 sides that I know. And then to find the missing side, I need to subtract that from my total perimeter. And my total perimeter was 39a minus 7. Now, we learned on our first lesson that when we're subtracting, we don't actually subtract. We distribute the negative sign, and we actually end up adding. So that will make this a negative, and that will make this a positive. And then we add straight down. And so my final answer on this one is 8a minus 2. 39 minus 31 is 8, and then -7 plus 5 is a -2. And that's it. We keep it like that. Remember, we're supposed to be getting a polynomial answer. Okay, so in this video, we learned that on a perimeter problem, you add together the sides that you know, you take that answer, and you subtract it from the perimeter. This concludes our first video.